are the code red.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Many today would say, you have your truth and I have mine. This represents the mindset of our postmodern culture today. In the marketplace of ideas, personal opinions, and crass political correctness, which is the currency that buys and sells, we have to realize that everyone seems to have the corner of the market on their own truth. Is that really truth? And to think in opposition to this, well, that's downright intolerant. It seems that our culture holds that the only truth that exists and that there is no truth. How can this be? Join us now as we take this time to stop and think.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Huh? Think, McFly, think.
I'm thinking.
What were you thinking?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Don't say anything now. Just think about it.
You're listening to Stop and Think About It, a podcast for the Christian thinker. In a day when sound biblical preaching has been replaced by man-centered entertainment, and the church has become increasingly anti-intellectual, this podcast will encourage believers to think biblically and theologically. So please join me as we get ready to stop and think about it.
Greetings, friends and foes, saints and sinners. Thank you for joining us today on this episode of the Stop and Think About It podcast. I'm Phil, the Bronx expositor, with my co-host Glenroy, the West Indian wordsmith. How you doing, Glenroy?
Wagwan.
And joining us again, a man that is no stranger to this podcast. Welcome back, Nick, a.k.a. the Italian Stallion. Oh, sorry. I think you usually call yourself the Puerto Rican Puritan, but that's your truth, not mine.
Definitely not my truth.
So, Nick, you're not called the Italian Stallion?
No, that's actually a first.
That's a first.
Actually a first.
Right. So, question, Glenroy, favorite ice cream is what?
It's going to be shocking. It's vanilla.
Vanilla, just like you, brother.
Only in the dark.
Nick, favorite flavor?
I have to say vanilla.
Okay.
And it might be my own truth, but it's the number one flavor.
Okay. Well, there you go. All right. What's the right ice cream flavor?
Whatever I find when I get to the grocery store.
Whatever's on sale.
The cheapest one.
The cheapest one. Right? Whatever you find in the back of the freezer.
Nick, I got to throw it back on you. What's Phil, I got to throw it back on you. What's yours?
So I am a chocolate chip cookie dough guy.
He doesn't make enough flavors.
Which is basically vanilla with chocolate chip cookie dough inside of it.
How diverse of you, Pastor.
Well, hey. Many people treat truth like ice cream flavors. You just decide upon your flavor. Is truth ice cream flavors? Is it like ice cream?
Look, I try to get mine to be as woke as possible, and I approve of yours.
You approve of mine?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure that mine has many points of intersectionality to it.
Well, my vanilla ice cream has not gotten me to the front of any lines.
No privilege?
No vanilla privilege for Nick.
I have no vanilla privilege.
Look,
whatsoever.
If there's any privilege in it, is to get to the bathroom first. That's the only privilege. Now, so I think what we would say that is preference, right? If you say what's the best one or something like that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just preference.
Mm-hmm.
It's according to your taste buds. But if you think about the sovereignty of God, even that was decided by God's sovereignty. So you didn't actually create your taste buds as to what you would like. You were wired in such a way that your taste buds were more fond of this flavor vanilla, plain vanilla, than,
Mhm.
having cookie dough inside of it, which, I think is the more biblical flavor. After all, man shall not live by bread alone. You need the cookie dough with the vanilla.
Nick, I'm so glad you're here to help me out. I do not agree with this, Nick. I
don't
finally had
understand
someone to
what's
help
going
me.
on right now.
That's not exegesis, right, Nick?
Nah.
That's
Nah.
makeup Jesus.
That's makeup Jesus.
That's like
That's Mr. Softy theology right there.
Well, there you go. It comes with the bells and whistles, right?
Can't get more New York than that.
So, who asked the famous question? Truth. What is truth? Survey says
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate. All right. So he asked this famous question. And of course, if we're using the word truth, Apologetics 101, we must define what it is. And so in the Greek, hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly, aletheia means a reality that is firm, solid, binding. It represents that which has certainty and that which is on that which one can rely upon. Or in short, it's just that which corresponds with reality.
Mhm.
So somebody says, the sun is X amount of miles away from the earth. I think it's 186,000 miles away from the earth. That's either true or false. The earth is on a 23.5 axis, true or false. You can't decide that you have a different degree for the earth's axis than has already been proven and evidenced.
All right, Phil, so since you gave the Greek definition, I want to give you the modern American definition.
Yes.
It's usually something to do with I feel like. And then whatever you say after the words I feel like, you then should reorient reality to fit it. That's truth.
Well, yeah, that would be the cultural or American and many places in the world. That would be the definition. And of course, that can change from person to person.
Right. So I feel like that's true. And then that's it. It's good.
Right.
It's good. I've used that in certain circumstances pre-Christ, and it worked for me very well.
Well, there you go. If you have a rapist that says, well, I feel that, and the rape victim that says, I feel that, which one are you going with? Right?
Two or three are gathered, my friend.
So
that is also a touchy subject in terms of and one of the things that we'll probably talk about too is that all women should be believed in all circumstances. So in this particular case, if it's a woman, you have to believe her. That's another
movement
twist of the truth right there.
Just like Potiphar's wife, right?
Yeah.
Believe all women. Imagine Potiphar's wife was the president of the Me Too movement.
Definitely.
That could be a problem, right, Nick?
True story. Kind of reminds me of a movie. I think it was called Rosewood, where the white lady, and it was a white woman, and she cried out rape against said it was a black guy, but I think she was actually committing adultery, and it just sparked this whole this whole rash of lynchings. They just went looking for lynching a whole bunch of people. And if you're
believed. Sorry. And if you're from that, it just hit my mind what you were just saying. That it hit me because when I read Malcolm X and the story of Malcolm X, and that was one of the things that got him in trouble. That he was, doing criminal activity, but he got sentenced to prison because of the white females that he was around. And it wasn't so much that they lied, but it was just like, okay, in relationship to them, it was more easier for them to believe that he coerced them to do things, and they were all committing crimes together. So he had a heavier sentence. And I know one of the things that that was brought up a lot is that used to be what was one of the racist things that were done, was that if there was any interracial dating, the black man would be arrested because they would say it's rape.
Even like sorry, Glenn. Even like in the court system.
Right.
When you have issues with child support and who gets the baby and so on and so forth, especially in child support. A lot of times the judge is very partial towards the woman. And
I believe it's 80% is the stats.
Yeah,
80% of them win.
I mean, rather than just hearing out the story and seeing, what is the truth that's transpired through all of this, and who really should be leaning, which way should we be leaning or not? It's always like you said, 80%, that's a high percentage.
Yeah.
And there are actually fathers out there that will do what they have to do for their children.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it goes very deep into every fabric of society.
Now, and I want to go back to what we started, and the Greek is saying a reality that is firm, solid, and binding. And we just gave about 4 examples where it's not firm, it's not solid, and it's not binding.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
then what do we fall back to?
remember Tawana Brawley,
Yes.
right? This whole made up story that Al Sharpton pushed to the nth degree, and it was found out everything was made up.
Yep.
And then it's always, well, it was my truth. And it's a truth that I understood at the time. It's like, no, you defamed the person. You made a spectacle. And to me, in this day, it's the Kavanaugh thing, where once again, don't remember the year it happened.
30 years ago.
Don't remember where. Don't remember what house. And can't remember anyone else, but you can remember him. And you didn't remember all the other times he was nominated to be a federal judge.
Right.
And it's like, I want to believe you, and I think as a man, as a person who understands the dynamics between power and weakness, I want to always afford you that thing, but it's very hard to believe when there is no truth to found it on, foundation of it. And I think a lot of people are realizing now that when you do this, when something truly happens, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I had a colleague say that he believed I think she was a psychologist. She got her doctorate, the one who made the allegation against Chief Justice Kavanaugh. And he said, well, I could tell she's saying, that she's, being accurate and honest, and that really happened. I said, how can you know that without the evidence? I can just tell. And I said, so if a student it makes an allegation toward you 30 years later, and they bring me into the courtroom, should I just say, well, yeah, I remember the student, I just believe her?
Yeah.
And well, no, it's not the same thing. Well, it is the same thing. The evidence has to support the claim. Or else anybody could just make claims whenever they want. And I mean, that's a major problem, is it not?
Yeah. Now, for example, the Johnny Depp situation. So I didn't watch the whole thing out of the circus, but I watched a YouTube breakdown of what happened. Right. And one of the things was there was a court case before this. And in that court case, it was in Switzerland or something. And the judge, there was no jury, it was a judge, presented the same information that was presented here. Obviously not as much because it was a different burden of proof. And he said, I believe her. She's credible. That was it. He didn't go into investigation. They didn't go through all the investigation that they did in this particular trial. And he said, I believe her. She sounds credible. And it's like, okay, where is the facts? Where's information? And so when we get a case where you're able to argue both sides, you bring witnesses, you go through the whole thing, you're like, oh, well, maybe it's not as believable as we thought. And so it's also an example of your truth versus, okay, let's get an objective truth, I think you're going to talk about that, right?
Yeah. So Francis Schaeffer, I think he wrote the book or did the video or whatever called How Then Shall We Live? And I don't know if these 8 reference points come from that resource, but these 8 reference points Francis Schaeffer called true truth, and he differentiates it from pretenders of truth. And
before we go, I wanted to make sure, because we didn't discuss it. I'm sorry, we were jumping around, that truth has to be objective, which means for all people.
Yes.
universal, which means it happens in all places, that it's something that's repeatable, demonstratively repeatable, and it has to be constant at all times. So if it's
Yes.
hot and the temperature is a certain way, then it should be that for everyone. It shouldn't be I feel cool. I feel like it's something that's measurable to a certain extent. I just wanted to make sure we got that clear, because we gave like a million examples of when it's wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you said, it's 93 degrees right now in Kenya and Africa, that's true for all people at all times and in all places.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I'm in Antarctica, it is still that temperature in Kenya right now, as we speak. It doesn't matter if I don't feel the 93 degree temperature. My feelings don't matter at the moment. All that matters is the truth. I mean, if somebody said they didn't believe in gravity, well, that's fine. You could say that. But if you jump off a building, well, you're going to go down. Doesn't mean you're going to die. And I certainly don't recommend you doing this.
I feel like I'm not going to do that.
Right. Well, that's good. Although I think it was Will Smith who said everybody should try skydiving.
Yes, I remember that.
But there's been the hundreds of people that have fallen to their death skydiving. Some even with the instructor, parachutes getting twisted up and things like that, parachutes not opening. So, I mean, it's not, it's not, is this correct phrase, fail safe?
Correct. Or yeah, that's good.
So, I mean, it's not fail proof. I mean, this thing can go sideways. And if it does, you're going down. And if you hit the ground at that speed from that height, you're probably not getting up again. We're probably doing your funeral.
Yeah.
So just, absolutely foolish words.
Don't you die before you hit the ground? I heard in some cases.
Nick,
well,
I've never experienced it. So but yeah, I think it's
you're the
fright.
EMT, you tell me.
I believe it's the fright.
I just come and scrape them off the floor. I don't.
Well, Nick, did you ever have a call for that one? Nick, did the ambulance ever come? Were you ever on, a call for that one?
For somebody dying from skydiving?
Right.
Nobody skydives in the Bronx.
Nick, I think they skip you and go right to the coroner.
Yet nobody skydived. Nobody has done skydiving yet in the Bronx. And hopefully they never will, but who knows?
They might steal the parachute.
Well, that's true.
So Pastor Phil, truth. Wow, that's like double facts right there.
True truth. I think that what the president apparently hears in his ear, that's actually true. I think they call it the ground truth. So in other words, what they put out on television for us to know, we know this much. Again, providing that what we're hearing is actually true. But what the president hears is supposed to be called the ground truth. He's getting all the details.
Like how Iraq has weapons of mass destruction.
Right, exactly like that.
I don't think our president will remember any truth that was told to him.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to believe that there is truth in the world as well. But Francis Schaeffer, he called a true truth from Pretenders of Truth, and he came up with these 8 reference points. Some of it will overlap with the ones that we already named for all people in all places at all times. And the first one he said is that truth comes from God. Now, why is that important? Why does that have to be the focal point, the source of truth, that it comes from God?
Well, he's a standard bearer. He's the creator. He's the one that's established everything as it is. And, I think one of the things I think about is that he's the first cause, right? He is not being, if you want something that's completely objective without influence, it's going to be God, because there's nothing that can influence him. It says that he does not change. So it's like if you created a video game and a world in a video game where you're in control of this whole thing, you're going to be able to answer. You ever hear one of the things we did when we were in school with a writer, when he wrote the book, we would all speculate about what was meant and what wasn't meant. But you know what was the deciding factor? When the writer writes, this is what I meant when I did this in this particular scene. So God is the author of the world. He is the creator of everything that we would deem. And so truth has to come from him.
Yeah, I forgot which philosopher, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, that said, all truth is God's truth.
I'm not
Do you
sure.
remember
I'm gonna
which
look that
one?
up. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, we have to find that. Somebody Google that for me. But yeah, so truth must come from God because God is a God of truth. Jesus said of himself, he said, I am the truth. So again, yeah, he is the standard, and truth has to come from somewhere. Otherwise, we can just call everything apples and oranges and not call things true or false. So when somebody takes a math test, you can't just put whatever answer you want on the exam. 2 + 2 has a right answer. It has a truth to it. If you write whatever answer you want, and then tell the teacher, well, it's true for you, but it's not true for me. That doesn't work. Or if you go to the bank, right, Nick, you go to the bank and you say, I'd like to withdraw $5.5 million. And they say, well, you know what? You got $5.50 in there.
I don't believe that.
You spent that on ham.
That's your truth.
That's your truth. Yeah. Fork over the cash. I mean, it doesn't matter if that's your truth. Or if you get stopped by the police officer, you were going 95 miles an hour in a 65-hour zone. That's your truth. That's not mine. He goes, well, that's good. Here's your ticket. That's my truth for you. I mean,
now the quote is from Saint Aquinas. So Augustine. I apologize. Saint Augustine.
It's from Augustine. Okay.
Yeah. So that makes more sense. Now I wanted to give a funny example, but a true example of.
I couldn't even find it.
Hey man, you have spent as much time on Google as I do.
He's the West Indian wordsmith, Nick.
So here's a funny example. So
once again, Puritan, you would have found it.
He would have told you the chapter and page in the book.
Absolutely.
So here's a funny example. Now, once again, we believe in objective truth. We believe in the truth of God's truth. And
yes.
So during the height of when there was an incident with Starbucks, and they were shutting down, they were re-educating their staff because of issues. When they had an incident where a black man was asked to leave because he was there not buying anything and working, and they said from the leave. So a comedian went into one of the Starbucks and said, hey, I just heard that they passed something where you have to give a free cup of coffee to every black person that comes in. And the lady's like, is it true? And he's like, yes. And she gave him the coffee because that was truth, because she just accepted it, because it's just, she didn't fact, she didn't go check, she didn't call our manager, she didn't double check, but she literally gave him the coffee. And it's like, there's a sense of silliness about this thing because they've opened themselves up to the fact that there is no truth, really. She doesn't have to double check. It makes sense, sounds good. So I'm going to give everyone a free cup of coffee because they're African-American.
Huh. Did you go in and get a cup of coffee afterwards, Glenn?
I don't identify as I did not vote for our current president, so I did not. I don't know. I don't think I would have gotten it.
That's right, because if you didn't vote for him,
you ain't black.
Uncle Tom.
You ain't black. Well, the second one he says is truth reigns supreme, and that would go back to the fact that it's absolute. It's objective. You can't change it because you don't like it. I think it might have been Steve Lawson. He says it seemed that for many, truth is not hard to understand. It's just hard for the wicked to swallow.
That's correct.
And so it is an absolute thing, and it does reign supreme. I mean, even if you don't like it, you can disagree with it. I had a conversation with somebody over the whole white supremacy being the reason that the man who shot I believe it was 6 Asian ladies, or maybe 5 Asian ladies and 1 Asian man, and 2 Caucasians, that it was all due to white supremacy. She provided no type of evidence at all. I provided tons of evidence, to show her she was incorrect. And at the end of it, she just says, I disagree with everything you said.
I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it was just, that individual's truth.
Nick, so you're in charge of our abortion ministry, and you're going out there and you're having conversations. There is an absolute fact that if you do an abortion, the result is the death of a child. But what are some of the arguments they make to make it sound like it's not the death of a baby?
One thing they do altogether is avoid using the word baby.
There you go.
So it's it's everything but a baby.
Mhm.
So at that point, the goal is to make them admit
Mhm.
what it is that they're doing.
Because
So,
by
what is the it that you're talking about, and what is happening to it? What exactly are you doing to it? What is the it? Oh, it's a baby.
Mhm.
So because they don't want to accept that truth
Yeah,
that it's
but
a, that
it's
it is a
absolute.
baby.
But it's
It is
absolute.
a-
It is the depth of
right.
it. And I think one thing that they say sometimes too, if you would agree with me, is like, well, I don't want a baby to ruin I don't want it to ruin my life. I'm like, so you agree that if you didn't do the abortion, then it would become alive, and then it would affect what your plans are. So you're admitting it's a child. Like when they do the, I think one of the ways that they always get them, it's the baby reveal party. And I think one of them was like, well, what do you call a baby shower? Oh, it's a baby shower. What do you call a baby when it's there? It's a baby. What happens when if there's a natural abortion or a natural? It's and he gets tripped up because the absolute nature of truth, the act that it's physically something that's there, it's hard to deal with.
Right. I mean, baby reveal parties are probably going to be racist now, right? 'Cause, I mean, you got but so many balloons you can pop.
What would Bruce Jenner's parents, like they would have wear baby boy.
We were wrong.
You know what?
I'm not gonna be so stupid.
Right.
You just gave me a great idea. I'm gonna put up a new company called it's going to be a baby reveal balloon, but it's going to be in the skin color of the baby you want, because you really got to get it. Is it going to be chocolate? Is it going to be?
Well, there you go. What you remember? A president, I believe he said, "We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts."
I don't think that's possible.
Right.
I mean, it's the same person that said inflation is not caused by the government spending.
Right. And so truth is a fact. It's objective, and all truth stands together. It doesn't oppose one another. So again, that's true for you, but it's not true for me, because then you're not dealing with truth, you're dealing with opinions.
Correct.
And opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody has one. I mean,
that's a clean version right there.
You like that, Nick?
I think that's your truth, though.
That's the Christian version right there, bro.
Well, there you go.
And they all have lint.
Now, hey, speak for yourself. I cleaned it every. Now, the truth. Now, and also the fact that truth stands together, like. So we talked about it a lot about worldviews, biblical worldviews. Well, the way that we test whether a worldview is correct is that the truth all stands together. Yes. So what they do with all these different world groups is like they compartmentalize it into all these different groups. And then it doesn't make sense over here, but it makes sense here. And when we offer the biblical worldview, it makes sense everywhere. There is no point in which you're like, it's not needed. It doesn't cover. Sin is in everything. And sin can explain politics. It can explain abortion. It can explain economically. It can cover everything. And that's why it's something that's true. Once you start saying, okay, well, all religions are the same, well, I can break that down real fast. When you say all roads lead to God, and I said, okay, what about demonology? What about a mystical? Do they all lead to God? No, they don't. And so I think that's really important. I think that's a way to debunk a lot of this stuff, is that it has to be coherent. It has to make sense away, because you can make the woman's right to choose make sense if you keep it in this very isolated box. And then someone asks you a very legitimate question. Well, at the point when you have a baby born in you and you're a woman, are you a man or a woman? Well, do you have a belly button, as Nick would say, or do you not?
I probably wouldn't have said that.
It's the Christian version, my
friend. That's the flesh in me.
Yeah, well, I think
there are other differentiating factors between men and women.
I think one late pastor said, we used to confess our sins, now we confess our rights. So yeah,
I have a right not to be judged for lying.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, I mean, besides all truth standing together, truth doesn't oppose itself, which is why the scriptures, you don't find contradictions in them. Although I met a Muslim man who said he had 1,500 contradictions in scripture, and I don't know how many pages they said it had. And I said, let's just look at one. And so
he would be so famous if that were true. Like,
yeah,
he would be the most famous person in the world.
I know. He said, I researched and wrote these. I said, yeah, right. You and Google, right? You just copy them off of Google. Come on.
He's got some written in crayon.
Vanilla color.
I had him read me one of them, and I said, let's just read it in context. And it just easily debunked. So, he was trying to say, that the Holy Spirit was Muhammad. I said, the Bible doesn't speak about Muhammad at all, but then they say the Bible's corrupt. And so, I mean, like, all right, so you think the Bible's corrupt, but you say it speaks about Muhammad. So, like, which is it?
So tell me if you've heard this before. So you'll bring up, for example, you might tell someone who's younger, you say, hey, marriage is between a man and a woman, and people who get married are, happy. It's productive. They say, well, no, that's how it used to be. It's not true anymore. I'm like, no, it's still true. Like, that isn't a truth, that we are designed to be man and woman. We're designed to be in this relationship God has given us. Anything outside of that is sin. Anything outside of that demonstrably leads to issues, to divorces, to separate houses, to crime. It's I can show you fact after fact after fact. So don't tell me
even
1950s, 1800s, that was cool. But now we're more enlightened, and committing adultery, sleeping around, having multiple, now that's good now. No, it's still a fact now as it was 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Statistically, it shows anyway.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Children that come from a two-parent home with mom and dad in the home are less likely to go to jail, less likely to go to detention, and on and on.
Wait.
Let me just share something real quick. In my field of work, and out of all the domestic violence cases that I've had, calls that I've had, the ones between homosexual couples are always the most violent.
Yes.
They're always the most violent.
I've heard that. And lesbian involved, very violent. And another truth, once again, you bring it back to the whole man-woman thing, they're almost always, I mean, I don't know all of them. Nick knows as more experience, but it's usually a feminine masculine. They're mimicking God. They're mimicking what God is. They're saying it's doing something completely new, but there's usually a more masculine man acting person and a more feminine person, and they're still trying to mimic it within their same sex. It's like, no, let's be realistic. It's true. You're fighting against what God has made true. It's absolute. It's constant. It never changes. And now you're trying to create your own version of that.
It's just a grudging bullheadedness. You know the truth. You know the truth, but you're suppressing that truth. And in your anger against God, you're trying to, change that truth to make it your own.
Amen.
Romans 1. Romans 1 lived out right in front of our eyes. And so Schaefer says, truth makes demands, it cuts deeply, it determines destinies. And number 9, truth reigns of truth. And so, it's not budging. It is here to stay. You cannot put it to death. It's not going to have a burial. It's not going to die. You can't get rid of it no matter what you do. It's similar to when we were preaching at the abortion clinic once, and the police were called. We weren't committing any crimes. And there were some, I guess, police barricades that were like kind of on the block, and they put them in front of me, and it was almost like the lady thought that she was like victorious. Now, I never moved. I was in the same spot preaching, and I said, you might as well have taken a chalk line and drawn it on the floor, because can you chain the word of God? Absolutely not. I mean, you look in the scriptures, they try to get the apostles to speak no more in the name of Christ, and then they throw them in prison, and what happens? Prisoners are coming to know Christ. Then the Holy Spirit breaks them out of prison. They're back on the streets and preaching the gospel. I mean, it's unstoppable. Truth is unstoppable, especially the truth of the gospel.
Pastor Phil, they basically gave, the crowd control. They gave you a little crowd control. So when the masses line up to hear the word of God, there's a little barrier for you. So that they were trying to help you out.
There you go.
They're trying to help you out. I want to tackle 6 and 7 because I think it gets to the heart of it. So truth makes demands. Like it requires something of you. For example, in the Bible, it talks about when he says the one that Jesus loves, that there's going to be a point at which you won't be able to walk on your own. The fact of getting older, the fact that your body's breaking down, that's a truth that cannot be ignored. And I know some people, and we know some people that act like, well, no, I'm the same. I'm 80 something, but no, I'm still 20. No, it makes demands on you, cuts deeply. It is something that you can't get around. Like the fact that men say they're women and women say they're men. You can't have a womb. You can't have children. You do not have a period. You doing all these things, but you cannot do the simplest things that define what a woman is. But yet, so I'm saying truth makes demands on you. It's something that's pressing upon you. And to live in a society where they're saying, no, I can overcome age. I have found a way to get over the 30, 40 years of weight and wear and tear in my body. The only thing I know that can do that is Jesus himself returning.
Yeah, well, it seems in our day and age, we don't know what gender is. We don't know what male and female are anymore. We don't know what life is. And we don't know who the true and living God is. I mean, just think when Joe Biden appointed Ketanji Brown. Am I pronouncing her name properly?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, that's my truth, right? And he said he wanted to. There you go. He wanted to choose a black woman, and then I forgot which senator was grilling her and said, "Can you define what a woman is?" And her answer was, "I'm not a biologist." I'm not a biologist.
I believe it is Ketanji Brown.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was joking. It doesn't matter. We should respect those in authority.
And so,
about truths, right? I mean,
yeah, it's all about truths, So, I mean, if she became a chief justice and they say, what's the name of the latest chief justice? Well, you know what? I'm not a judge. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, and so she didn't want to say the truth, but yet Joe Biden said, "I'm going to choose a black woman." And then when you ask that black woman, what a woman is, she wouldn't define it.
He must be a biologist.
So wait.
Biden must be a biologist.
Right. And
Joe Biden's a biologist.
And the difference between men and women, I think, are in biology 101 kindergarten 101.
Right.
Like,
right.
I think the first day they drew colors and they tell you to color in, and you can see the difference.
Right. Exactly.
No, when you in Head Start, you tell the teacher you got to go to the bathroom, and she takes you to the boys or the girls because there is no otherwise.
No. But hey, that was true back then. Now we have gender neutral. You gotta get with the times.
Is the 5-year-old going to turn around and say, "Excuse me, Mrs. Smith, are you assuming my gender?"
Somebody get me a lawyer. I think truth also demands humility, right?
Yes.
Because truth should be what resolves all issues, right? If something is truth, like if me and my wife are having an issue with one another, then we're gonna go to the scriptures to see, what the word says about it, right? Or in some form or fashion, through principle or to being straight out explicit,
Sure.
And if we find that truth in the scriptures, then that should be the resolve of our issue. we should humble ourselves to what the word says, and if whoever has to repent or ask for forgiveness, but that's that hurts your ego. That hurts
Nick,
your pride.
how can you say humility during Pride Month, Nick? What's
Oh,
wrong with
yeah, I
you,
know,
Nick?
man.
It's Pride Month.
Yes, I'm still upset about that because they put it in the same month as the Puerto Rican Day Parade. So I got a big grudge about that. Plus, they took Juneteenth and they put that in the Puerto Rican Day Parade month. I mean, come on.
Though I am upset about this entire month.
But wait. Oh, by the way, what does the rainbow mean? Now here it is. So one of the things that we want to focus on, and I think this is a really good segue, even though we can still tackle 7, 8, and 9 of the 8 reference points of Francis Schaeffer. Cultural contradictions and biblical consistencies. So God established a rainbow. He made it. It's his creation. It's his blueprints. He made every color within it. And he put a bow in the sky. It is his water that he created. He causes it to rain. He causes the mist to come up. He causes that rainbow to bow in the sky. And so, even when you use your garden hose, yes, you can kind of, but you're still using the water God made. So, nevertheless. But now we have LGBT saying that they are redefining what the rainbow is. You can't redefine something that God has made. That's because there's lack of humility, right? Yep. And there's a disbelieving of God's truth as to exactly what that rainbow means, that he will never flood the world again. And when somebody comes along and says, yeah, well, we still have floods, like the one I had in my home, 3 feet of water in the basement.
Well,
yes,
we could always hijack the rainbow again and then put it on toilet paper.
Yeah. No, we don't want to do that.
So the same line with this Pride Month, I saw a picture or an article written where they had a drag to something. Anyway, it was like a fashion show and they called Drag the Kids or something.
Oh yeah, I saw that, bro. That's terrible.
I heard about that.
And I have to describe it. So they have the runway and they have like one boy going with a male whatever, right? And they're walking down. Then there's another one with 2 kids and the kids are posing with them and they look so awkward. But the one that killed me was the one where there was a stripper woman, and the daughter was encouraged to put Bill in the lip. And then the person was like, thank you for opening up your children's mind to not be within the prejudice. Something about prejudice and being able to open up to different ways. And then the parent said, oh, thank you. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Wait. So when he uses the word prejudice,
yes,
contradiction.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a contradiction, because then if we have a view that that's ungodly, wouldn't that same individual be prejudiced against what we're saying?
That's your truth.
Right? So, I mean, I really love studying apologetics, and these self-contradictory statements are often made, and by people in our culture, and they don't see it. They don't see it because they don't want the truth. And as Nick quoted from Romans 1:18, they suppress the truth and unrighteousness. Truth exists, and they try to push that beach ball of truth under the water, but they're just suppressing it because the beach ball is still there. It's going to pop up out of the water.
So, wait, let's go back. So you're telling me
I am
that the rainbow is not representing the shades of gender and the fluidity between is that what it's not about that?
No, because I don't think there are people that are blue. I don't think there are people that are yellow. I don't think there are people that are red, and so on and so forth in that respect.
What about last month, which was Health Awareness Month? Did you don't think that the colors represent the different mental capacities we have?
I saw that too. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, well, that's Pride 1 and this is Pride 2.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, you can't test for mental issues, chemical imbalances. You can only make assessments concerning those things.
Using hold on one second. Using what as a basis? How do you differentiate that?
Well, I mean, the
Truth.
world uses the DSM chart, but we use
but right, exactly,
Yes.
exactly. You know, and objective truth is the way that you the thing. You say, hey, I see something there, and we say, no, it's not there.
All right. What was on the DSM chart? I believe 3 that's no longer on the current DSM chart.
Gender dysphoria.
I'll give you a hint, rainbow. Right. So, I mean, it was one time deemed as a mental illness. So it was true then, but it's not true now. That's not truth because it's changed.
Correct. That's still your truth. Well, it's our truth, to be honest, but it's your truth, Festival.
And that's the issue with this worldview, right? It has no basis for truth.
No.
So this truth can be constantly changing. So as you see, like with the little 5-year-old girl who's putting money inside of the whatever it is drawers, you know, I mean, and then, you know, the applauding of that, what does that lead to? It's just not going to stop, you know, at LGBTQI plus. It's going to, you know, that's why I said in a rhyme one time, you know, LGBT will soon be adding a P, you know, and P is for pedophilia. And then
that's definitely a must. That's a must.
Yeah. And
love has no boundaries, age.
And then you're going to go
nothing.
down, you know, it's just going to keep changing and they have no basis for their truth, you know, and, you know, what are we going to do? Like, how do they think that God is not going to call for a day of reckoning?
Now, are you guys aware of the trans species? Now that you can be there's a snake lady, and they put like snake things on. They cut the tongue open. They put like spikes so they can be. There was one person.
I saw the wolf man. Did you see the wolf man?
Wolf. No, I think was it a wolf woman? I can't. But it was a wolf person, and they asked them how, you know, can you speak with wolves? And they were very like.
That was mad. That was mad progressive of you.
Yeah, and the person. Well, I don't remember. I can't remember. I just knew whatever they were representing was wrong, and she's like, well, obviously I can't speak to them with English, but you know, with words. But and I'm like, no, you can't communicate with them at all.
Well, here, let me give you one of these here. You'll appreciate this. Trans-species man spends $5,000 a month to transform himself into an elf.
Wasn't he the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Yeah, maybe.
Now you can become the Lion, the Witch, or the Wardrobe, whatever you want.
Well, there you go. He became obsessed with the world of elves at 25 years old because he was bullied as a child. And so, you know, became obsessed in the world of elves, angels, and fantasy after being bullied. I mean, what do you do with something like this? Now he's a trans species, and he spent tons of money. I saw a picture of what he used to look like and how it was changed. But come on. I mean, where does this end?
So I think it goes back to the fact that truth makes demand. So one of the things that differentiates truth from something else is lies make you feel good, right? And so the truth is it doesn't care about whether you feel good or doesn't feel good. It's just what it is. And so when something is true, for example, sin is the truth. And I go back to David, when David says, you should kill that man. And they said, no, you are that man. That hurts. When you start going through a scenario and you realize you are the villain, right? Yeah. But in their world, they're not the villains. They're the victims. Things are happening to them. God is bad. Society's bad. The government's bad. Everything's bad. And it's like, no. The government is made up of people. And if there's sin in the camp, it starts with you. And I think that is what is at the heart of it. And like you said about the people with abortion, they're just making up things to make it sound good. And the truth has to cut deeply.
Yeah, well, and from there in Psalm 51, where David is repenting from his sin of adultery, he says, behold, you delight in truth, in the inward being, and teach me wisdom in the secret heart. And then prior, he says, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. And so David realized that God desired truth, and he was living a lie, and he needed to come clean with it. And he certainly did. That's why we have Psalm 51, because truth cut him. It cut him deeply, and it determined his destiny. And he was eventually called a man after God's own heart, because truth reigns supreme. And there was a humility, as Nick mentioned. Now, just as an example of how the world is so contradictory, if you recall, Mike Lindell, who is the founder of mypillow.com, he endorsed President Trump. And so people said, don't buy My Pillow anymore. And they took it out of various stores, and they wanted to get it off the air and all things like that. But yet we buy oil from Saudi Arabia. Yet they condemn homosexuality.
Your truth.
And they won't even show movies that endorse homosexuality.
That's your truth.
But yet we buy
Later, Buzz
oil from
Lightyear.
right?
And to go back even further, and I think those are damaging enough. But for example, Disney is going there talking. They're in Florida. They're trying to influence politics. They're saying all these different things. They say, okay, like you said about the movies, why are you taking the scenes out? Why are you taking the lesbian couple out? Why are you that with the Black Panther movie, the best-selling movie, when they did the posters in like China and other places, they put the mask full on. And then when they was in racist countries, so to speak, they take the mask off and show it's black. And it's like, okay, well, why are you marketing it differently?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh yeah. You'll see it. If you see obviously we wouldn't see it, but they showed it, like how it was marketed in other countries compared to here. The mask was on, so you couldn't see that he was black, which is silly, but there are little things like that. They cut him out. It was in Wakanda. It was in Wakanda. It was in Wakanda. and they're editing scenes, and even in the movies where they're showing inclusion and diversity and whatever, they make sure it's not crucial to the plot, so they can just kind of remove it when needed. And they're banned in Saudi Arabia. They're banned in all these different places, which I'm against. But at the same time, it shows the hypocrisy of it, because these are places where people are being killed for being homosexuals. This is a place where transgender will be killed. This is where they behead people. Those places, they're fine. That's their truth, right? But in the United States, we are bigots. When I have never harmed or physically wanted to hurt anyone that's a transgender or anything like that, we are hated. And yet these people, to make money, do you remember this situation that happened with the NBA and China, where someone spoke out against China and they went to town on him, but let Mike Lindell support Trump? Oh no, that is the end of the world. But where people are literally in camps, and Tibet is there's still a free Tibet. When have you last time you heard free Tibet? It's done. Because no one wants to offend China anymore. But it's easy to offend Christians. It's perfectly fine to offend God. It's perfectly fine to offend anyone who's conscientious about these kind of things. It's okay for a child to tip a stripper.
And the funny thing is that they become allies with one another over here. The homosexual community and the Muslims, and it's a religion of peace and so on and so forth. But like, they don't understand that if they were under Sharia law, they'd be getting thrown off of roofs, or or
crazy.
Worse.
They're
not trying to make friends. They're not trying to make friends. Their whole goal is to subjugate the world.
And we're gonna talk about in a minute about Black Lives Matter and how this whole uproar about race in America, when the countries but when there's countries where there's still slaves. And I would think if you are concerned about Black lives, that your focus would be, let's free those slaves over there.
No, but Glenn,
do something.
Chill. Yeah. Black Lives Matter. They just bought a bunch of mansions.
I did not get my room.
so everybody could get out the hood. Everybody should get out. Now we can all leave the hood and go live in the mansions. You're just gonna put make it a projects in a nice building in a nice neighborhood. That's all you're doing.
but guess what? Because I didn't get an invite. Maybe it's because I ain't black. I don't know, but I didn't get an invite.
You ain't, bro. You lost your black card, bro.
I had it for 38 years, but it just lost it. Just the election, you know.
One election, that was it.
And one of my favorite ones, and I know we're jumping around, but this is just a interesting topic, is a lot of people who voted for Biden who are all in. All of a sudden, I can't find them. It's no longer truth. It's no longer a fact. So they're all complaining, and I was like, didn't you vote for him? Crickets, quiet. It's like, you know, stand by what you stood by 2 years ago. Stand by what you stood by last year. I thought it was the end of the world and he was a great savior. Now he's in and your gas prices are high. You know, the same racial issues are still there and nothing's been fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And just as we're talking about, you know, this, you know, we have all of this lack of a standard, and that's what the world lacks. So when they bring up, you know, oh, you know, what do you do with rape and abortion? Well, what's your standard to say rape is wrong? Now, I agree rape is wrong. It is absolutely sinful. I believe they used to execute people in the Old Testament who raped someone. So we agree, but they don't have a standard by which that is wrong. And I heard Nick say this on the box right there in front of an abortion clinic when they said, you know, Nick said, so is it wrong to violate another person's body apart from their consent? And they said, absolutely. And Nick said, thank you for that pro-life argument. Because again, there's an inconsistency that they have. So what they say is wrong concerning, you know, raping a woman, and we agree it's absolutely wrong and sinful. Then they say violating a baby is okay. Another inconsistency in that regards, it was wrong for the shooter to go in and shoot 18 children and one, I think, police officer, a security guard in Texas. That was considered brutal, but 3,500 children are ripped from their parents, well, from their mother's womb, arms, leg, torso, head crushed, sucked out with a vacuum, 20 times more than your vacuum cleaner at home. That's not brutal. 3,500 a day.
Yeah, and Ben Shapiro made a great point. I was watching a video and someone came to him. He
usually does.
And someone came to him and said, "Isn't it a contradiction? You say that the government shouldn't interfere with the right for guns, but people get killed. And then you're saying, and we're saying the government shouldn't get involved with a woman's right, and it's not fair." And he said, I'm paraphrasing, and he said, "Hey, guns are for defending against bad people. Abortion is decided 100% of the time to kill a baby. So one is possible, and one is the aim, is to kill children." Mm-hmm. And it's like they don't see it. And the thing is, it doesn't exist for them.
And the thing is that they don't live that way. They don't live that way consistently. You know what I mean? They don't take the gun and put the gun on trial and then give the gun 25 to life, right? Because the problem is the gun, right? We got to get the guns out of here. You know what I mean? They don't do that. But you know, statistics show, like, I forget what other country it is, but they don't have guns. But guess what they do? They, you know, stabbings are through the roof.
London.
Yeah, no matter what it is,
crazy.
You know, the heart of man is going to show its way through. A criminal is going to be a criminal.
I'm sorry,
go ahead, brother.
I'm going to show my age, and I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh a while ago. He passed away. And he used to point out articles where he said SUV kills 3 people. SUV. It's like because they were against. It was about the climate change and global warming, and it was either SUVs were bad because they were such gas guzzlers, and so the articles would say SUV kills 3. The car didn't drive itself.
Well, everything is framing, and so the blame game, which started back in the garden, Adam saying is the woman you gave me, has been going on ever since. So
I still use that argument.
well, there you go. All right, who was blamed for slavery? Who do most people blame for slavery in the United States?
The white man.
Absolutely, but who did they buy the slaves from?
They bought them from Africans.
Right.
Yeah.
For the most part, they barely got off the boats.
Yeah.
The slaves were brought to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So there were black people that sold family members and others into slavery for money.
You can't blame them though.
So now, right?
I love Thomas Sowell because he talks about like
He blows all that stuff up.
Slavery historically is not really about racism. It's about vulnerability.
At all times and still to this day.
But like you were saying before, who was blamed for the school shootings? The shooter?
Nope.
No, it's the gun. The gun.
It was the gun.
Yeah.
Right? Or white supremacy, or it was the NRA who didn't pull the trigger at all. It wasn't the NRA. So, I mean, if someone goes to Dick's Sporting Goods and buys a baseball bat and beats someone to death, is Dick's Sporting Goods now liable?
No, MLB.
For selling Louisville Sluggers?
No, Major League Baseball is a fault.
Yeah, Major League Baseball. Oh, we got to boycott Major League Baseball. Shut them down. They would never say that.
Nope.
It's hilarious because NRA is they teach gun safety. So it doesn't even correlate. They teach gun safety. They train people how to use guns properly. That's not the guy who went and shot up the school doesn't even know what NRA is. He didn't use them. They would have told him. They would have told him no.
Didn't when Cain murdered his brother Abel? Didn't they blame the NRA, the National Rock Association?
Yes, they did.
Or the National Club Association. Well, I mean, it wasn't Cain's fault. It was the object he used to bludgeon and murder his brother.
National Rock Association. That was gangster.
So I still think it's the number one weapon still.
Well, here it is.
The
God
rock?
said, "Where is your brother?" He said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" He said, "Behold, your brother's blood cries from the ground." God blamed the murderer. You see the consistency of scripture versus the inconsistency and the contradictions of the culture. Thank God we have the scriptures. When you think about the value of life, school shootings are wrong, they're brutal, but abortions are right. Ripping kids limb from limb, no good. And when you think about, what's happening now, right? They're putting people on trial for the January 6th.
The worst attack on democracy since
ever.
The last time.
Yeah, exactly. But the BLM riots.
Hold on 1 second before you get started.
Fine.
Not the war between the South and the North. That was not the actual
Pearl Harbor was a walk in the park.
Not 9/11. Not 9/11. No.
Not 9/11.
No.
9/11. Wow, what's that?
January 6th. January 6th, a couple days before my birthday. That's when things started going crazy. I'm sorry, continue.
How many people died? How many people died?
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get there. So
It's
BLM
triple
riots,
digits.
500 plus BLM riots. January 6th, one day. Now we don't
sorry,
agree with it.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You mean the peaceful protest, right? What do you mean by riot?
The mostly peaceful.
The mostly peaceful protest.
Do you remember?
There was a piece here and a piece there.
Do you remember when they had the video where the store is on fire behind him? And he was like, "This is a mostly peaceful." Like there's the building behind you is on fire.
You could roast marshmallows back
for
there.
that section of the city that's burned down. Everything else is high.
Yeah.
Continue, brother. I'm sorry.
And right, one lasted 7 months, one lasted several hours. The BLM riots, 20 plus murders by participants. January 6th.
Triple zero.
000 by participants. The BLM riots, hundreds of small businesses destroyed. January 6th, no small businesses destroyed.
Hold on. I gotta correct this. There were some targets. There were some. Those aren't small businesses. There were some targets. There's some big businesses destroyed as well in the BLM riots.
Well, there you go. There was 150 federal buildings damaged by the BLM riots. One by January 6th.
Hold on. But AOC wasn't in the other buildings. Got to get that clear. Got to get that clear. Hundreds, 150 plus, including when they were near the White House and destroyed a church nearby. But nah, it's not the same thing. It's not an attack on democracy.
All out crazy was real scared for her life too. She was shook. She was like,
I'm gonna own that one.
She was really shook.
One was downplayed by the media. One was played up by the media. Now, I don't agree that anybody should have went into the Capitol whatsoever. We don't endorse it. We don't agree with it. And certainly we don't downplay it. I mean, sin is sin. And that's why, the Bible is consistent. The Bible speaks about rebellion. It speaks about insurrection. By the time Artaxerxes in 464 through 423 BC, Jerusalem had a well-established reputation for insurrection, according to Ezra 4:19. Barabbas was charged with insurrection. By the way, who took Barabbas's place?
That's also your truth.
They said,
Jesus.
Now listen to what the crowd said. Give us Barabbas. And Barabbas means the son of the fathers. Who is Jesus? The Son of God. They crucified the Son of God and said, give us the son of the fathers. And so I think what we see today is the same kind of thing. They want to crucify truth. Give us Barabbas. Give us the lies that we want to believe. And therefore, back in Romans 1, God will give them over to a debased mind to believe the things that are lies. And that's where we're at today. We have these bootleg preachers, these false preachers that are on the air, Osteen and Jakes and others. I just heard today, Joyce Meyer has 20 best-selling books of the top 100 Christian books. 20 of them are Joyce Meyer. Several of them are from Sarah Young, the Jesus Calling series.
Do you know what a Christian book is?
I don't think so, because 20% of them at least are not even Christian to boot. And so the world doesn't
let me guess.
Truth,
a purpose-driven life.
It's on there. How'd you know?
Okay, was the Bible on there anywhere? Or
I don't think so. Although the Bible is the best-selling book every year, but I don't think that's counted in the 100. It's also the most stolen book and mishandled book as well, which is why we try to rightly handle the word of truth in the church.
I have a confession.
Yeah, we need the confession.
How many books have you stolen? How many Bibles have you stolen?
I actually read The Purpose-Driven Life.
I did too. I had to.
Did you agree with it? That's the real question.
I was a fairly new Christian, and I mean, I didn't really know what to get out of it. I didn't know that.
Well, Nick, one thing I like about The Purpose-Driven Life, it has a really nice binding to it. But besides that,
a paperback. I don't know.
If you got a Dessalines and you need to
got a paperback, then we bring it to the men's retreat, and
I got it from Barnes and Noble's, the Broke Cat section. I don't know what.
Like if you want a doorstop and you don't want it to slam, you just put that right there.
Put it right in there. Yeah,
I don't have it anymore, but. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad, because you remember what I said about the last book that somebody shouldn't have, right? What was that line? Burn it. He didn't like that too much. But, this whole thing with truth, we have a consistency that the world does not have. And they change the flavor of the month every month. And who knows? I mean, just think about it. We look back on history and we say slavery was wrong. At least we do in our country. We look back and we say Nazi Germany was wrong. will we look back one day and say abortion was wrong because the majority says something, right, and appeal to the majority, which is one of the fallacies, that just because the majority believes something doesn't mean it's true and doesn't mean it's right. If one person believes that which is true and 99% of persons believe a lie, does that mean the 99 are right because there's more?
Whoa, Phil. Nick, back me up
Come
here.
on.
Knock me up.
Bring
Back
it.
here. So you're telling me a consensus of scientists does not make something true? Like if I have 100 scientists over here, like I can't believe them just because there's 100 of them?
Not
Wow,
just
this is news to
because-
me. This is news to
Yeah.
me.
And I love when people say, well, science says, you know, I mean, our president would say something like that. Well, the science says, first of all, science doesn't talk, right? Math doesn't talk, science doesn't talk.
No, remember, science is a woman. So you
Well,
gotta-
Science is gender neutral.
It doesn't speak.
Yeah.
Scientists speak. Do all scientists agree?
Nope.
No.
Some people still think the earth is flat.
Well, there you go. And so Dr. Jason Lyle is a Christian astrophysicist. He would vehemently disagree with Neil deGrasse Tyson, who said that we're all made of stardust.
I
Yeah, I
Nick,
didn't know
Nick
the
you
last-
handle that one. You handle that one.
Nick, are you stardust? Is that the glory that you have there, Nick?
He's Puerto Rican. He's Puerto
Every time
Rican.
I
Puerto
walk
Rican
into
stardust.
every time I walk into a room, stardust just falls on me.
Well, yeah.
Is that what hit me on the
That's-
eye on Sunday?
Well, yeah, that sounds like the genuine gold dust that used to fall in many Pentecostal churches. Although they got some glitter from Michael's and they put it in the air vents
You know,
and they
you
put
ever-
the AC on high blast.
You ever heard the saying every hero needs a theme song?
Well, I did now.
Every Christian needs some stardust.
I think we should definitely do a Bible study on him. I heard him he was trying to talk about how Christians are like he was attacking us about truth as well, and he made some allusion to the silliness of believing in the Bible and like how we are believing like something about how the stars and the curvature of the earth and I really wanted to dissect what he said because it was just like, okay. And once again, my argument is I love science. Science is allowing us to or scientific discoveries are allowing us to communicate right now, allowing us to broadcast this to the people who are listening and who are watching this. But at the same time, science is just observations of facts and trying to replicate things that have happened in the past. That doesn't negate the creator of the universe. It doesn't negate the fact that the things that are happening are miraculous and impossible. Right?
And God determines what is true in terms of science.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
God is at, you know, is at the head of all of that. You know.
Definitely.
Is simply trying to discover God's truth as the laws that he set in motion.
But by definition,
the weather patterns, the laws of logic, and on and on.
By definition, God is what's making it possible for you to say it rained last week, it's going to rain this week, because he's making the world operate on schedule, on time, to be that way. Otherwise, everything could just, how can you predict that tomorrow? How can you cannot predict that in 50 years, we're going to have a solar eclipse on this day, unless you can guarantee that tomorrow will come.
Unless the future is like the past.
Yes. And so something has to be maintaining think about it. The laws of physics govern the laws of physics. What? It's like saying I made myself exist. It doesn't make sense. Something has to be making sure that the laws of physics operate the same in all areas of life and in all places and in all times.
But I mean, here's the problem. you can't do science apart from God, because
Yes.
you cannot have immaterial laws that are constant unless you have a lawgiver and somebody who's holding it all together.
Yeah, and I think Rene Descartes said that, how are we able to understand infinity when we are finite, when we are limited? The fact that we can even think about endlessness is amazing. It's not something that we can come up ourselves. We can only conceptualize of these things because God has placed eternity in our hearts. Like something in the Bible.
Right. If you're into science, listener, here's a good one for you. Hebrews 1:3. He, God, upholds the universe by the word of his power. You realize that if he let things
consist.
Absolutely. And you have to realize, if God were to let it go for 1 second and not uphold it, everything would go to chaos.
Yeah.
We could just drift closer to the sun, burn up, or drift further away from the sun and freeze to death.
Now, hey guys, let's give the scientists a chance here. One, nothing started spinning within nothing and exploded into nothing, and is continuing to expand into nothing, and then we are stardust.
That sounds like science fiction to me.
Yep.
Not
science truth. That's not science truth.
I was having a discussion with some guys at work, and they were talking about science, but they were rejecting religion, not just Christianity, but religion altogether. And I was like, but so you believe what the scientists say? And I was like, yeah. I said, you do realize that's faith, right? So you do have a religion.
Yeah.
And your religion is science. Oh, no, that's not the same thing. I said, it is the same thing. In principle, it is, because all man is inherently religious. You're going to put your faith in something.
Let me show you this. You'll like this. All right. This is a website of a guy that I know. All right. Absolute. All right. So he's got truth, and here are four possibilities. Absolute truth does not exist. You click it, and it says absolute truth does not exist. Is that absolutely true or false? All right. Wait. I got another one. I don't know if absolute truth exists. You click
I know whose that is.
Yeah. I don't know if absolute truth exists. Absolutely true or false? And here's my favorite one. Absolute truth does not exist.
No, the other one. Is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong one.
Yeah. I don't care.
I don't care if absolute truth exists. And it brings you to Disney World. I mean, this is good stuff, is it not?
Dope.
Well, hey, I just know where to find the good stuff. I don't make it up. But really good website to send somebody to, proofthatgodexists.org. There's just no way around it. Truth exists whether you like it or not. Truth exists if you're male or female, rich or poor, free or slave, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu. I mean, truth exists no matter what. You can't get around it. You can't ignore it. You can't close your eyes to it. It's up in your face all day and twice on Sunday.
Whoa, Nick. So I've been self-identifying as healthy. It's not working though. I still feel a little bit. I'm still have my allergies, but I self-identify. I'm manifesting the fact that I'm healthy. What do you think about that?
I think you're nuts.
And that's the truth.
I love it when I'm at work and they're like, and I say something negative, not positive, not negative. And they're like, don't bring that on yourself. I'm like,
oh man, I can't stand when people say that. Right?
I said, how come I can bring negativity upon myself, but not money or a marriage or 6 kids? Like, why can't I bring the positive stuff? How can the only power I have is over negative things?
It's like this boxer, Deontay Wilder. He professes to be a Christian. And every time he was in interviews, I don't understand. in one breath he says, he wants to kill somebody in the ring, and in another breath he says, he's a Christian, and then he says this thing all the time. He says, "I speak it, believe it, receive it." So he's trying to speak his wins into existence, I guess. And it didn't work out too well with him when he came up against Tyson Fury. I don't think he was able to speak that one into existence. But
too much negativity in his mind. That's what happened. That's what happened. And I think it even goes further into the like I said, into the Christian world when they tell you that the reason why they're not getting this miracle is lack of faith. It's destructive. That's once again, you always give the analogy, Pastor Phil. Walking on a bridge, I have faith is gonna be like it, I don't give the bridge the ability to uphold itself. My faith is in that the structure will be there. You don't make things happen through faith.
Yep.
It's a recognition of the truth.
Right. I think Joe Osteen was on Larry King Live. I don't know
America's
if you
Pastor.
Find the America's Pastor.
Not Christian America, but America's Pastor. No, that's a truth. That's a
well,
truth.
yeah, he's considered America's pastor. After all, he's living his best life now, right?
Wait, that's a real thing?
Yeah, people call him America's Pastor.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't even refer to himself as the pastor, but they call him America's Pastor.
Yeah, I don't know if you could find this YouTube video, Paul Washer versus Joe Osteen. I think Osteen was on Larry King, and he said he was asking about the truth, and he just kept saying, well, I mean, I don't know. And then you hear Paul Washer said, give us some preachers who know the truth. I mean, you don't know? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
It's not a joke, right, Nick?
It's not a
Truth
joke.
is real. But
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
all right. Nick, final word. Glenroy, final word, and then I'll close it a final word. Nick, wrap this up for us. Give us your final word on this whole thing with the reality, the truth, being consistent in scripture and being contradictory in culture.
My final word is Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and fools despise wisdom and instruction. Unless you begin to fear the Lord, you will despise the truth that comes from the Lord. And we can't escape God's truth. We can't escape it. He is our creator. He is our authority figure. He's our authority, and his word is absolute. And what it takes is humbling ourselves. We have to stop grudging against God, So, those people have to be categorized as fools who reject God's truth. I mean, you have to be a fool because you're actively holding down what you know to be true, So.
Amen. Before Glenn goes, it reminds me of when I asked Brother Jacob, what's that thing called when the bulls run after the people in Spain? What's the name of that event? And he says, that's called foolishness. And that's the truth.
That is the
truth. Glenn.
John 14:6, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. You're right. I think that says it all. To me, the truth, some of the things that you mentioned, is the truth is for all people, in all places, at all times. And I think the truth makes demands on us. And we grow in maturity when we start to accept the truth for whatever it is, good or bad. It is what makes us adults, makes us fearful before a living God. And if we start denying the truth or sugarcoating the truth or accepting some truth, or, my eyes are wide open to the truth. And one of the things we do in Christian fellowship is tell each other the truth. Glenn, that was the wrong joke. Glenn, that was inappropriate. Glenn, you seem angry. Glenn, what's your study life like? Those are things that truth is our currency to grow and sharpen each other. And the minute that goes away, I don't care what you believe or how great you think you are on that, not on the narrow path anymore. And I think if people start looking objectively at what's going on around them, it's going to lead you to question and ask yourself, where will I go when I die?
Good stuff. All right, you two are very spiritual. You both gave Bible verses with truth. So I'm going to have to say, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Oh, wait a minute. There's actually a verse before that is contingent upon this second part that most people don't know. That'll be John 8:32, John 8:31. So Jesus said to the Jews who had believed in him, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Like an if-then statement. You have to abide in the word of God, standard of truth, unchangeable, objective, all people, all times, and all places. And you will know the truth, and the truth that you know from the word of God will set you free. And so let me just end with this. If you're listening to this and you don't know the truth of Christ, or you think Jesus is just a prophet or a guru or a good guy, a good teacher, or anything other than what he said he is, you do not know or believe the truth. And so open up to the book of John tonight, or as fast as you possibly can, begin to read it and begin to learn the truth of who Jesus is, who he said he is. The Gospel of John tells us very clearly why it was written. It tells us these things are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. That is the truth. There's not 15 ways to heaven. There's only one way to heaven. Everyone will stand before God, but only those that are in Christ will spend an eternity in heaven. And those not in Christ, they will spend an eternity in hell. And that's the truth. I didn't write the truth. I didn't doctor up the truth. I'm just a mailman. We are just a mailman, and we're just distributing the truth from God's word to all those that would hear it. And so if you have ears to hear, may you hear. And if you have eyes to see, may you see. And if God has opened your heart, then you will understand the truth of God's word. Well, thank you for taking this time to stop and think about it. Let me just remind all of our listeners, you can go to our website, soulfishingministries.org, and help us by supporting us through buying some of the merchandise we have there. We want to put additional things up. We're hoping to put up some good biblical pro-life shirts and paraphernalia and hats and mugs up there as well. So if you would support us and then use those resources to evangelize our world concerning the truth of Jesus Christ. And once again, thank you for taking this time to stop and think about it.
If you would like to contact us, please email us at stopandthinkcrew@gmail.com. You could also visit our website at www.stopandthinkpodcast.com. This podcast is listener supported by generous people like you. You can give a tax-deductible donation at our affiliate ministry at www.soulfishingministries.org and click on our donate link to give securely through PayPal. Thank you for listening to Stop and Think About It.